Tonight's episode of Off the Hook is presented by the Boathouse. At the Boathouse, boating is a way of life we embrace and share with our customers. We are boaters and we understand your passion to be on the water. Our passion is enriching your experience on the water.
The Chinooks lost their fifth straight game to the Mallards tonight in a blowout loss 12-5. For Wyatt Kopelman and Andrew Lind, I'm Charlie Dern. Wyatt, tonight it started off and it looked bad really early. We got off to a really rough start with a 7-0 deficit.
Yeah, it really started off pretty badly. Charlie, looked like a calamity right from the first pitch. Cade Barrett giving up the leadoff base hit, and Cam Craddock and then the rest of the lineup really continued to punish the Chinooks as Lakeshore really just didn't have an answer. Almost looked like a boxer with its hands tied around its back. Falling down 12-0 early on, 12 unanswered runs is never a good sign in the Northwoods League or really any level of baseball whatsoever. So unfortunately, the Chinooks pitching, not only Cade Barrett but also Arthur Liebau, were not able to really stop much of the bleeding. And now you have just another opportunity to go clinch Game 2 tomorrow against Madison, a team, as you mentioned, the Chinooks have lost to 5 times in a row.
Well, I just mentioned it, Andrew. We threw in Arthur Liebau later in the game. It really felt like without pitching a typical starter that we've had, that we were throwing the kitchen sink at him, like something that we've done earlier in the season. We ended up throwing a couple arms tonight.
Yeah, right as Cade Barrett exited after the first inning, there was this energy in Capco Park that we've seen time and time again, but it just was really dull and it was really silent. And so Arthur Liebau came into the game. I think the fans expected a little bit more from the hometown kid, but 6 walks did not stop the bleeding, like you said. I wish we could see more out of him as the season winds down, unfortunately. But then Brody Ware entered in the third, and we saw 6 1/3 innings from him. A great performance. Just 2 runs given up, and although there were 2 runs after a 7-run first inning and a 3-run second inning, really positive things from him. 4 strikeouts. I talked to him after the game, and I said, "When's the last time you threw 6 innings?" He recalled that it might have not been since high school. So just over the course of the season, his ups and downs, it's been great to see him just pitch so well lately.
Well, it was great to see him pitch so long and so well, Andrew. I think he started to really develop a lot of command of the zone after what we saw with the first 2 pitchers. Liebau and Barrett just were not able to retire batter after batter. Barrett gave up 7 runs to the first 7 of 9 batters, and that's not really a good sign, like I mentioned. So Brody Ware being able to come in, finally anchored down the pitching, and then the defense was able to finally get it all together. And then the offense was able to string together some runs. So I think Lakeshore wasn't necessarily lucky, but they just kind of kept their heads up and were able to really keep pushing through all of what Madison threw at them. Travis Acre was happy with the effort. And if I'm Arthur Liebau and Cade Barrett, this is a loss that you have to put behind you. You have to just come out whenever that next may be in college season. That's going to have to be it.
Well, we started off in that 12-0 hole, but we slowly chipped away through some small ball offense, which is not our signature. You know, we for a while this season, we led the Northwoods League in home runs, and we had a lot of guys just hitting it deep and getting the extra base hits that would score us runs. But tonight, it was all about the base hits and the stolen bases that moved guys over.
Well, it definitely was, Charlie. This is a Madison team that throws the 4th most strikeouts in the Northwoods League. And fortunately for Lakeshore, they were able to avoid the 12 strikeouts, I believe it was, and finally able to put together some base hits that got runners moving around the bags. And then I also really thought Madison's defense got a little bit shoddy towards the end. I mean, we just saw a lot of sloppy play in the infield as well as the outfield, a lot of drop fly balls, and that really had to be something Donnie Scott was not pleased about whatsoever. And you talk about not finishing on a high note. That was Madison. They were not exactly able to eke out with the win because it was still a 7-run deficit for Lakeshore. But Lakeshore was able to just find ways to capitalize, but they're going to have to rely on just a little bit more hitting tomorrow. Jackson Gray was quiet tonight, striking out 3 times.
Yeah, and Andrew, it was a tough night, and you mentioned how quiet it was, and the dugout was quiet, the bullpen was quiet. What are some positive takeaways that we can get from this game, and with only 2 games left in the 2 home games left?
Yeah, Charlie, not a lot of positives in the 12-5 loss, but 2 things that I took away, 1 from the 3rd inning and 1 from the 9th. In the 3rd, Ty Olenek got the first hit after being no hit through the first 2 innings. The University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee product just here, and glad to see that he's, maybe creating a little spark despite, not being able to really get the offense going. And then Jake Orthaber, out of St. Thomas D3 school, now moving up to D1. Actually started as a marketing and ops intern and got that call just a few days ago. And so just really cool to see a guy who didn't pitch much as a freshman in St. Thomas, but got the got the call and delivered tonight.
Well, I think just going back to Brody Ware, this was such a monumental step for him, right? You saw the number of batters he retired in a row, and just coming from a program like Kent State, he'll be able to take that back, and Travis Hickory really emphasized that to me in our post-game conversation. You see someone who, again, didn't really pitch a lot in the start of the season, had a couple of starting nods to his name, but was finally able to put it all together and just put out a great showing in front of a Lakeshore crowd that wasn't exactly all in it from the start, and we saw, just like you said, a lot of dead energy from the start. And I think Lakeshore is just something to have to come out tomorrow with Tommy Lamb on the mound and look to him to rely. This has really been their ace all season, and he has that trifecta of pitches that has really worked for him. And then also just getting guys more energetic before the game. It seemed like a lot of pitches they were swinging at were almost undisciplined, and we saw like a lot of half-heart hit, swing and misses as the guys continue to strike out time and time again. I think Lakeshore is going to be in a good spot tomorrow if they can really add a little bit more to what they did tonight. I
think the last thing before we close it out is there's only a few more games left. Unfortunately, the Lakeshore Chinooks are out of playoff contention, so there's not a lot of pressure on these guys' shoulders to just come out and play good baseball. As we saw, 12-0, down early, tack some runs on in between, and I think when the guys loosened up a little bit, they started to have some more fun and put some runs together. So hopefully we can see that in the last few days here.
Well, we return tomorrow night for the second to last home game at Capco Park. Tommy Lamb's on the mound. For Wyatt Kopelman and Andrew Lind, I'm Charlie Dern. Thanks for watching.